Boker Tov, good morning. Today's Friday, May 19th. Yom Yerushalayim, a day of great rejoicing for the reunification of Jerusalem that took place on this Hebrew date back in 1967. A time for giving thanks to God, tefillah, saying Hallel, all the things that we should do. Come to shul if you're hearing this early in the morning. If not, when you daven your own tefillah, say Hallel to give thanks to God. And it's also Erev Shabbat Parshat Bamidbar, where the focus is on, to a great extent, on tribes and clans and clusters of tribes for that matter, but at the same time on individual families, as it relates to tribes, admittedly, but that's what you have. And here I want to draw your attention, if I might, to Perek Aleph, Pasuk Chaf Aleph. Pasuk Yud Chet. God tells Moshe what he's supposed to do in terms of preparing for account, and now he says, Moshe takes the elders. A second. Yes, takes the princes of each tribe, and at Kol Haidahi Kilu, he gathers all of the assembly of people, that's the entire nation, on this the first day of the second month. It's a very strange word. And they, you see the word yeled in there, and they made themselves birthed, they made themselves children by their families according to their father's households. What is that? What in the world does that mean by yitialdu? To somehow become birthed or born. So Rashi says it means the following. Heviu sifrei yichusehem ve'edei chezkat ledatam kol echad ve'echad lityaches al hashevet. They each brought documents or witnesses to establish their family lines. We know about you perhaps when you know that when you were born or your children were born. In some shuls, there was a baby naming certificate that the rabbi gave you. We happen not to do that in our shul. Or if there's a bris, the mohel would give you a certificate to about the baby's name. So those are all good things to bring. But otherwise, there were communities kept ledgers that established your who you came from. And if not, then you have witnesses that would be brought so that Moshe would know which family line you came from, so he could help establish for you where you belong. Where you belong, right? Where does your tribe, which tribe, as the layout of the encampment is now being formalized, where you should position yourself, and ultimately where you will inherit land in Israel. And you do that by establishing your yichus, your lineage. That's what it means. We know, of course, that we use this word yichus in other ways. You have good yichus or not good yichus. I mean, it's also about lineage. But it's not merely the question of, just establish where on the ledger information belongs. But good yichus would be, I don't know, do you come from prominent scholars, from great people who are communal leaders, people of great wealth? That was good yichus. If you came from simple folk, if they were horse thieves, so that's not good yichus, right? In the world where yichus mattered a lot to people. It wasn't so healthy that was the case. You define people by whence they came. And so, we are uncomfortable, I think, in the modern period with focusing too much on yichus. And I think it's a good thing that we are, right? We look to your personal credit and the like. But I'll share with you one teaching of the Rajina Rebbe. The Rajina Rebbe contended that we should shift our focus from yichus of lineage to yichus of progeny. Yichus of progeny. And he plays off a verse in Tehillim, chapter 45, verse 15. Okay, Mem Hey Tet Vav. Tachat avotecha yihiyu banecha. So the psalmist is talking there, maybe perhaps around the children of Korach, but instead, in place of your ancestors, shall be your children. And his contention is, right, I don't care where you come from. Stop focusing so much on where anybody comes from, but rather what you produce in life, who your children are. And I say this with caution, by the way, because ultimately our children will take their own course in life, and the things that they do sometimes, a course which is, let's say, not whatever the course is, you're not responsible for, and you can't take too much credit. But to the extent that that you've invested in your children the way you're supposed to, as good parents, with love and direction, and your children indeed live out some of those values, whatever version it is that they live them out, that's your yichus too. Your yichus is whatever your hands produce that's good in life, and whatever your children do. Yichus not only about what it is, whence you come, your lineage, but yichus in what comes forth from you as well. That's the teaching of the Raziner. And I hope that all of us can think in those terms. If we're blessed to come from families that are great families, good. And if we're not blessed to come from it, it's not really not being blessed. It's where we come from. We are us. And now it is, what do we make of ourselves, and what do we help our children to become as well? That's where real yichus is to be found, my friends. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom.